This is a tutorial on how to host your website for free. So the way we're going to do this is by hosting it as an open source website through github.com. So if I go here and I look up GitHub, there we go, github.com. So the reason that you want to use github.com opposed to another hosting service is because it allows you to host a open source website. The other hosting services do a fine job, except that they have monthly fees attached to them, and this is totally free. The first thing that you'll need to do is to create an account. So if you don't have an account, then the home page will look something like this, and it's really quick. You pick a username, example, and you enter in email address, and you choose a password, and you hit sign up for GitHub. Now that you have an account, your page should look something like this. It says learn Git and GitHub without any code, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're not going to learn Git specifically, but we are going to learn a few things. The first thing that we need to learn is what a repository is. It's not important that you know all the details about it, but essentially you need to understand that a repository is a place to store things. In our case, we're going to store files. We're going to put the files for our website in a repository. So we say start a project, and it takes us to the create a new repository page. We're going to create a new repository. I'm going to call this one hello for our test website. And my description will be test website. And I'm going to initialize with a README file. You don't have to do this, but it simplifies it for us and it will speed things up. So I hit create repository. And we can look on our page for the hello repository. It has the title up here and it has the files that are included. Right now we only have the README file. Before we create files for our website, we need to create a new branch. So if we go to this section, it shows that we're on the master branch. The master branch is created by default, and this is sort of the main branch for our repository. So if we click on master, it says switch to, and it gives us this option here to create a new branch. And we're going to create one called GH pages. And it's really important that it's typed out specifically that way, GH-pages. The reason is this is actually a special name that GitHub recognizes, and it links this branch to something called GitHub Pages. And GitHub Pages is the service that publishes our open source website for free. So you can create other branches if you want to, but the one that will get published is the one called GH-pages. So I will hit enter, and it creates a new branch. So up at the top, we can see that now we're editing the GH pages branch, and our website needs a file. So I will hit create new file. Before we can start putting a bunch of code in this section, we need to give our file a name. So this is the main HTML file for the website, and I will call it index.html. The .html tells us that it's an HTML file, so that's essential. And I have some code actually prepared in text editor. So this is just a simple code that will put up a header that says hello world, and just copy, switch back to here, and paste. Okay, we can actually see what this is going to look like ahead of time. If we go into our file manager, I have it saved as helloworld.html, and if I just open that up, this is what the web page looks like. The name of the web page is web test, and it says hello world. So close that. And if we scroll down, we don't actually have a save option, but what it does have is commit. So in Git we have branches, and we can work in different branches such as GH pages, and we have repositories where we can store files, And so this is another new word that's sort of specific to Git, and it's called commit. And commit is essentially the same thing as hitting save. So I'm going to commit this to the GH pages branch, and we can see that index.html is saved. So if I go over to settings and I scroll down, there's a GitHub pages section, and the source is GH pages, and that's why it's really important that we name our branch GH pages, and it will tell you up at the top your site has been published at this address. If I click on this link right here, it will take us to our web page. You can see the domain and the title, web test, and our header, hello world. That's all we included in the file. And all of my web pages will have the same format. So it starts with dross00.github.io. And that's because my username is dross00. So it always starts with the username .github.io, and this part is the price you pay for publishing with GitHub, and then it has the name of the repository, in this case, hello. If you don't like having this kind of domain name because it's a little bit messy or you think it's ugly, then you can go into options. I'm going to actually switch. I'm going to go to my profile and switch to this one. This repository is called ROSS, and I'll go into settings, and below GitHub pages there's an option for a custom domain, and I've registered the domain mrross.ca. Yes, you do have to register the domain name ahead of time. You can't just link to any domain name. But if I go to mrross.ca, it shows up on here instead of the dross00.github.io. There you have it. There is your open source web page published for free at a custom domain if you would like it to.